Here's something that's never been said in over 250 years of our American history. We have a Treasury Secretary who likes to fight in the White House, among cabinet members, or those in the inner circle of advisors and handlers for Donald Trump. Scott Bessent just confirmed for the third time effectively that he wanted to kick the ass and or punch in his effing face the nominee to be the head of national intelligence by Donald Trump, a guy named Bill Pulte. And he did it during a Senate hearing and an exchange with Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina. Let's get into the pugilistic tendencies, shall we? And what's always behind it. Usually, he doesn't like somebody talking behind his back. He doesn't like when that person is close to the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. And all those roads led back to Bill Pulte. Let's cover it right here on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. Top line story is Bill Pulte's never going to be the director of national intelligence. Once again, Donald Trump has learned in the last week that there's just some things he can't get his MAGA Republicans in the House or Senate to do. A ballroom, funding a weaponization fund to pay people who beat up the police, things like that, a war in Iran. And now the new one is, no, they're not going to confirm Bill Pulte to be the head of national intelligence. Not when the New York Times runs an editorial board piece that says this man should not be the head of national intelligence. At the same time, two separate cabinet members, one Marco Rubio, who is the head of national security for America and our Secretary of State, threw him under the bus, Bill Pulte under the bus in his credentials, such as they are. But the highlight for me was the fighter in Bessent. Who knew when he was running a hedge fund for Soros or whatever that he liked to put on the gloves and threaten. So yesterday, during a question and answer from Tom Tillis, who's on record now as saying he's going to block the confirmation of Bill Pulte, who he has not only obscenely unqualified, but in a way that renders America unsafe from the moment he was prepared to be nominated. So this is the exchange between Tom Tillis and Bessent. Now, Tillis is referring to a September 2025 article in Politico, which I'll read to you in a minute, about a dinner for a podcaster with 30 people in attendance, including Howard Lutnick, in which Bessent threatened Pulte. It was a turf war, as reported, between Pulte, Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, and the Treasury Secretary, and Bessent has got thin skin and he doesn't like when people go behind his back and trash him to the president. Let's play the clip first of him being asked the question about whether he was going to threaten to punch Bill Pulte in the face or kick his ass or both. Play the clip.
Did you actually tell Pulte you were going to punch him in the face?
No, sir. I actually said I was going to kick his ass.
Good. Okay. Good. I share the emotion. Thank you.
And as I said, that was last summer 25, and many teams have fights in the locker room and then go out and win for the team on the field.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because everybody's going to be showing that. I made it clear I'm not going to support Pulte for DNI, but I'm sure they're going to dredge that up. But so I thought I'd give you an opportunity to.
I had a very good exchange with the director yesterday. Want to keep the momentum going on FH.
Yeah, well, he lost me when he went after Powell.
Okay.
Now the reporting on it. This is the third time, by the way. The reporting on it is even more salacious. But Bessent also threatened to go after Elon Musk when he didn't like when Musk was going back behind his back. He also threatened to kick the ass of Boris Epshteyn when Boris Epshteyn wanted him to hire Boris to lobby the president to make him the Treasury Secretary over Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary. See how all roads lead back to Howard Lutnick, who we haven't really seen since he testified before the House Oversight Committee about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein. And he didn't go to China either, Howard Lutnick. I think he's on his way out based on just watching who's in and out of that inner circle. But let me read to you from the Politico article that is obviously being referred to by Tillis. The headline of the article is, "I'm going to punch you in your fucking face. Scott Bessent threatens an administration rival," by Rachel Bade. A private dinner attended by a dozen of administration officials and close advisors to Donald Trump was marred by a dramatic clash between two of Trump's top economic officials, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent at one point threatening to punch top housing finance official Bill Pulte in the fucking face. I'm not being gratuitous in my cursing. This is from the article. It was supposed to be a celebration of the opening of this executive branch private club and a MAGA-friendly podcaster's birthday party. Lutnick was there along with 30 other in it. Bessent lashed out at Pulte and an expletive-laden diatribe. "Why the fuck are you talking to the president about me? Fuck you. I'm going to punch you in your fucking face." That's the article, okay? But not the first time. There was also reporting that Scott Bessent was going to kick Elon Musk's ass because he didn't like Elon Musk talking behind his back. In fact, Bessent got asked about it, and here's a clip of him responding.
I always like to end on a little bit of a light note when we can, okay? I have heard you describe yourself as a ninja when it comes to business. So can you level with me? Elon Musk, black guy, right hook or left?
Whoever did it's left-handed.
Are you left-handed, Secretary?
That's for the next interview. But I think his son X may be.
Okay.
And he said X, they did it. So
well, he may have a UFC fighter on his hand then.
Well,
yeah.
I think he just taken X to UFC a couple of weeks before.
I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of MeidasTouch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states, and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way. And then you have the sordid tale of Scott Bessent, Donald Trump, and Boris Epshteyn. Boris Epshteyn had been the consigliere for Donald Trump, who didn't make it to the promised land, sort of like Moses. He got Donald Trump to the White House, but then because of his personality, nobody likes him, he got left behind. He wasn't given the White House Chief of Staff job. He wasn't given the Deputy White House Chief of Staff job, but he was always Donald Trump's consigliere. He put together the legal team of Todd Blanche, Emil Bovee, and others to defend Donald Trump. John Sauer, that was all the hand of Boris Epshteyn, who people considered to be sort of the replacement for Michael Cohen after Michael Cohen went to jail. So you got Boris Epshteyn. Boris Epshteyn is lobbying to kind of find a way to make money off the Trump administration. So according to reporting, he approached Scott Bessent when there was a battle between Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick to be the Treasury Secretary. Lutnick wanting the Treasury Secretary, not the Commerce Secretary position. And basically Boris Epshteyn said, you should hire me and then for several $100,000, and then I'll lobby and you'll get the job. And he didn't do it. He said, you should also invest with me. I have a basketball league. You can put $3 million in, to kind of curry favor with me. And then when he didn't, and there was all this battle, Bessent was unhappy and confronted Boris Epstein during the transition period. And he said, he went after him. And that's when, according to people inside, Boris Epstein famously said, I'm Boris fucking Epstein. That's who I am. I mean, you can see the crazies that are in the administration. So this is not the first time that Scott Bessent has been accused and confirmed effectively that he was going to kick somebody's ass in the administration. The problem is for Bill Pulte is that he can't get into the cabinet when other cabinet members are publicly trashing him in different parts of Congress yesterday. I mean, when they went to Marco Rubio and said, all right, and I've done this in depositions and in cross-examination, where you lay it on thick and I shouldn't give my secrets, you butter up the witness to get what you want out of them. And I love when the representative from New York said to Marco Rubio, you're a smart guy. You've been on the, we both sides of the aisle appreciate your experience, expertise, and intelligence. You've been the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. You're the head of national security now and the Secretary of State. Have you ever heard of Bill Pulte? Here's the clip.
Ranking member.
Without objection.
Secretary, thank you for being here. In conjunction with your job, you're also the National Security Advisor with access to the most sensitive intelligence secrets our countries and other countries have in the world. But before this, you had these two positions. You had a distinguished career as a member and a chair for 5 years of the Senate Intelligence Committee up to last year. And you and Senator Warner are some of the most respected and knowledgeable people at that time and voices in the entire intelligence community, earning the trust of Democrats and Republicans alike, Senator and House members, and other countries. So with all your Intelligence Committee experience, and now as Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, and all those years of experience, have you ever, specifically in the context of the intelligence community, heard the name Bill Pulte?
In the context of intelligence?
That's what I said.
No. I have
never heard his name. Okay, thank you for answering that.
Well,
never.
That alone, that's going to be his epitaph. That's going to be on his headstone. Here lies Bill Pulte. No. Who? So, listen, all kidding aside, is it commonplace for a cabinet member to threaten to punch the face in of another prospective cabinet member? No. Has Scott Bessent done this frequently? Yes. Does Donald Trump seem to like it? I guess. Bessent keeps winning all these wars. He got the Treasury position. Lutnick seems to be on his way out, or should be. He's at least moved outside of this. If you were plotting power around the president, I think Lutnick has moved away. And whenever Bessent wants to prove a point about who's the bigger, tougher guy and who's the ninja, Bessent seems to come out on top. I think this is the drip, 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 drip of a failed confirmation for Pulte. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump, knowing he doesn't have the votes, pulls the nomination, just hours after having made it. Sort of like what he did with Matt Gaetz. This reminds me a lot of Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, who's up on ethics charges at the House at the time for participation in child sex trafficking, gets nominated to be the Attorney General of the United States. And then once, same group, Susan Collins in Maine and Murkowski in Alaska and others come forward like Tillis and Cornyn now and say, yeah, we're not supporting the president on this. He's got to pull the nomination. We'll continue to platform it here on Legal AF and on MeidasTouch Network. Until my next report, I'm on the road. Everybody follow me. If you're in town, by the way, just as a little plug, I'm not sure when this video exactly is going to go up, but if you're in town and you're in Philadelphia, you can visit me. I'm at the Netroots Nation Conference at the Philadelphia Convention Center on Media Row. Come visit Popok and say hello. Appreciate you all. I'm Michael. Until my next report. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.